Hello children, good morning. Today we are going to start science class children. So last class we have discussed what is meant by shadow. So once we will recap what is meant by shadow. Are you seeing the picture? A shadow is made when an object blocks light. See, when an object blocks light. So light travels in straight line. So if it is blocked means there must be shadow formed, isn't it or not? So some objects, if you block the light also, only some objects can pass the light. Okay, some objects do not allow the light to pass through them. Some objects can pass through them. So there are some objects such as glass, it will allow the light to pass through them. No shadow formation takes place if you do with water. Okay, glass and water, they will allow light to pass through them. Some objects, like if you place a car in front of light, it will block the light. So, and a book, hammer, or any elephant, or anything. So, some objects will be there, they will not allow light to pass. So, they form a shadow. They form a shadow. Glass and water, they will allow light to pass through them. That's why no shadow will be there. No shadow will be there. So, a shadow is made when object blocks the light. When object blocks the light. And we will see about this shadow, how it will be in the early morning. Are you seeing early morning children? The sun is low in the sky and casts long shadow. There may be long shadow, short shadow, and also longer than shadow will be there. Are you seeing? So the sun is low in the sky and casts a long shadow. See here, shadow of the tree, how it is. It is long, isn't it? Next, observe this shadow in midday. Are you observing midday? That means the sun is above the tree. The sun is above the tree or not, and casts short shadow. And casts short shadow. Next, if you see evening, the sun is low in the sky and casts a long shadow. So, like that, the shadow differs from morning, afternoon, evening, isn't it? So, if object is moved closer to the light source, the shadow gets bigger. If object is moved further away from the light source, the shadow gets smaller. These points you need to remember, children. So, morning the shadow will be long, isn't it? Because the sun is below, low level in the sky. Whereas the sun is above, in midday means the sun will be the above. So, if object is moved further away from the light source, shadow gets smaller. If object is moved closer to the light source, the shadow gets bigger, isn't it? So, this is about the shadow. Next, coming to the, there are so many pictures in your textbook also, children. Go through in your textbook page number 168. 168 and 167. Next, coming to the sound. So, sound means, what is meant by sound? We can hear different types of sounds around us, isn't it? Different types of sounds we will hear. Whereas sound comes from various sources such as people talking, playing music, chirping of birds, rustling of leaves, moving vehicles, ringing of doorbell, and barking of a dog. So sounds can be soft, loud, pleasant, or unpleasant. If you see here, she is playing music. That is a soft sound only, pleasant sound. So sounds, some will be pleasant and some will be unpleasant. If you hear sounds of birds also, there will be pleasant sounds, sounds of rainfall, sounds of piano. So it will be pleasant sounds. Whereas see here, unpleasant sounds. What are the unpleasant sounds? Some unpleasant sounds make noise. So shouting, chewing food noisily, or horns honking. Horns, see here, horns honking are unpleasant to hear. These are unpleasant to hear. These unpleasant and loud sounds, they will make noise. They will make noise. So that's why they are called unpleasant sounds. You know, noise pollution, that is also one noise pollution. We get disturbed by high levels of sound. If your house is near to the railway station also, it is noise pollution. It is very far, very harmful for our health and diminishes our quality of life. Diminishes means reduces. In order to avoid this noise pollution, we should speak softly, play music and TV at low volume, and avoid the use of horns as far as possible. As far as possible. Next, coming to the next topic is force. Are you clear about sound? We have some pleasant sounds and we have some unpleasant sounds. Listening to the music and whispering and ringing of this doorbell, it is unpleasant sound. Whereas whispering, sounds of birds, rainfall, singing, these are all pleasant sounds. These are all gives under examples of pleasant sounds. Whereas unpleasant sounds means horn honking and shouting. These are all unpleasant sounds. Loud sound making. Okay. So loudspeakers, if you see some in marriages, they will keep loudspeakers. That is also an unpleasant sound. That makes noise pollution. So in order to avoid this noise pollution, we should speak softly, play music and TV at low volume, and avoid the use of horns also as far as possible, isn't it? Next, coming to the force. What is meant by force? Next topic is force. What is meant by force? See here, two persons are doing some activity here. One person is pushing and another person is pulling. So that is nothing but pushing or pulling an object that is applied on object is called force. Due to some force only, they are able to push, and due to they are able to pull. So tie a string to a toy or a car. If you pull the string, the car moves towards you, isn't it? Push a table with pressure. You can see the table moves away from you. So by these two actions, they are possible to move this object from one place to another place, isn't it? So by pushing or pulling, they are applying that force on an object. That is called only force. Force is nothing but you can define as a push or pull that is applied on the objects. Force is push or pull that is applied on the objects. So if you take a long eraser and try to twist it, this twisting is also a kind of force. Force can move an object, stop a moving object, change the direction of moving object, and change the shape of the object. These are all we can make, isn't it? So, with force, we can change the direction of the object, moving object, change the shape of the object. Like if you take atta powder and you will mix it and you will prepare a dough, that is also you are changing object, shape of the object, isn't it? And with that dough, you are able to make chapatis also. That is changing the shape of the object, stop a moving object, changing the direction of moving object. Next, coming to the friction. In your textbook, we are discussing about three topics in this lesson. Light finished. Next, sound finished. Force finished. In force only friction will be there. What is meant by friction? Suppose you are skiing on ice or skating on a hill slope or walking on a dry floor or walking on a wet floor. So it is easy to skate on a hill slope. No, it is not easy to skate on a hill slope because of force. That force is called friction. That force is called friction. Friction is nothing but a special force that slows down a moving object. That slows down a moving object. Okay. So when there is a very less friction means things tend to slide. So suppose if you throw a ball on the carpet, it will easily move. No, it takes less friction. Things tend to slide. When you throw a ball on a glass table, how the friction will be more? Friction is more, so things do not move easily. Sorry, in carpet, friction is more, so things do not move easily. Where things can move easily, there less friction will be there. There less friction will be there. So friction tends to stop a moving object. It tends to stop a moving object. Force. See here. Some I will show you some images based on friction. So like skating also. This is also friction only. See, So when you are moving this object, it will easily move. It will tend slidely, isn't it? That means less friction is there. If you remove that and keep on the carpet that car, it is easily. If you touch it, it will easily slide on that. No, it takes more friction to slide on that carpet. So that is called frictional force. Understood? See, these are all examples of friction. Friction is nothing but a force acting in the opposite direction. A force acting in the opposite direction. Friction is nothing but a force acting in opposite direction. Okay? So always acts opposite in the direction of motion. That is called friction. See. So on skating on ice, it takes more friction. It takes more friction. Okay. So this is about your lesson light, sound and force. So are you clear about what is meant by light? It has two luminous objects and non-luminous objects. Luminous objects which emit light, that means which produce light, which gives light, those objects are called luminous objects. Which does not give light, those objects are called non-luminous objects. And give the examples of luminous and non-luminous objects. Luminous means uh, sun will come, bulbs, lamps, all this. But sun is a natural source, remaining are human-made sources. But they produce light or not. So those are called luminous objects, which does not give light, like books, pencils, tables. These are non-luminous objects. Understood? Next, coming to the shadow. Shadow. When a light blocks, when a light is blocked to an object, then shadow is formed. And through glass and water, no shadow will be appeared because light passes through them. Whereas if you take any remaining objects, that they will block the light. Light cannot be passed through them. So, and shadow will be a long and short and mid also. That means when you observe the shadow at morning, at evening, at afternoon, how the shadow will be, you need to know that. I have given the examples. And next, coming to the sound. Sound has two types: pleasant sounds, unpleasant sounds. Pleasant sounds, singing, whispering, and listening to the music. These are all pleasant sounds. Unpleasant sounds means horning, that horn honking. Horns honking. Honking means a short or loud or sound made by cars and vehicles. Someone shouting, chewing food noisily. These are unpleasant to hear. This is about sound. Next, coming to force. Force is nothing but push or pull. Force is a push or pull that applied on an object. Next, friction means it force that acts in an opposite direction. Force which acts in an opposite direction. That is called friction. That is called friction. Where friction will be more, where friction will be less. According to the given examples, we can decide that one. Understood? This is about your lesson. Each and every thing is clear, I think so. So force is nothing but friction is the force which opposes motion. It always acts in the opposite direction to which driving force operates. Understood? So this is about your lesson. And next we will see the reading part of this lesson. Okay, children, thank you.